This is Real Conversations with Anita, a mental health podcast brought to you by Iltizam by Equinus and MIASA Malaysia.
And it's also uncomfortable right now as I'm sharing this with you because I've never shared it, to be honest, in my 10 years, going through my mental struggles. But
how do you speak to a person that has,
So
a mental
important.
health issue?
Sure.
Words definitely matter.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what to say, then just be quiet.
Right.
Don't judge the book by its cover tu memang nampak macam cliche, but that is the right thing to say. You tengok semua orang yang sakit mental health issue ni, semua perfect.
Where do I start? Because how do you talk about something that is probably one of the most painful times of your life and kind of put it in words, because they're
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Conversations with Anita, a mental health podcast brought to you by Iltizam by Equinus and MIASA Malaysia. And this week, we continue to unpack taboos surrounding mental health, supporting you in possibly having difficult yet meaningful conversations, and to honor the stories of inspiring individuals that have done a lot of work within the impact space and in their own recovery journeys as well. And we truly hope that after all these episodes that we've been airing, that we understand the profound strength and resilience vulnerability brings. And for that, we are truly humbled and excited to have with us today Dr. Nizam, who is the Associate Professor at the Department of Economics, Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, and a Research Fellow at the Center for Islamic Economics. And also, he was previously the academic advisor as well. Welcome, Dr. Nizam. How are you today?
Thank you very much for inviting me. Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us. Now, Dr. Nizam, before we dive into our topic of discussion, where we hopefully will be talking about an inclusive insight, the real truth behind living with a disability, if you could give our listeners a bit of your background and a glimpse into what have you been up to lately.
Okay, thank you, Puan Anita.
Most welcome.
As you have introduced, my name is Muhammad Nizam. I'm currently Associate Professor teaching at the Department of Economics at the International Islamic University Malaysia.
Yep.
My hometown is in Melaka. I have
mashallah.
10 siblings.
Big family.
Big family. I'm the youngest.
Masya Allah. Manja ke tak ni? Manja ke spoiled? Which one?
I choose not to
Not to
respond.
disclose. Okay.
Okay, and lately I'm working on some materials on Islamic economics education
Okay.
at the Center for Islamic Economics. We are trying to come up with a series of books related to the teaching of economics with Islamic perspectives.
Oh, mashallah.
So we have successfully published the first one many years ago
Okay.
on the curriculum, and recently we managed to publish the second one on teaching microeconomics, and hopefully in this near future we are trying to come up with the third series of the book on teaching macroeconomics.
Oh, mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
And I'm also teaching at the department undergraduate students on principles of macroeconomics, and at the master's level Islamic capital market.
Mashallah. So why the interest? When did this interest come about, specifically on economics?
When I was small, actually from the 10 siblings that I have,
Right.
7 of them have this visual impairment.
Okay.
So the blindness started at the very early stage, at childhood level.
Okay.
Initially losing night vision and
Yep.
gradually losing all vision. Yeah, so since I'm the youngest in the family from the 7, I'm I'm still having some level of peripheral vision.
Okay.
But my brothers and sisters, they have almost coming to total blindness
I see.
because of this disease.
Right.
And when I was small, I looked at some of the people who have achieved success
Right.
among the blind community. So it happens that at that time we had Professor Dr. Ismail Saleh, who was the first blind professor in Malaysia.
Right.
And he was specializing in economics. And
see.
with the encouragement of my brothers and sisters, I decided at that time to follow his footsteps.
MashaAllah. Congratulations, Dr. Nizam. I think it's such an incredible journey. I read your entire story, which we will unpack as we go along. I just wanted to pick up on that one thing that you just said when you talk about peripheral vision. Maybe can you explain a little bit? Is it more of, can you kind of sense like the room, the width of the room, size? Or what is that like?
The disease that I'm suffering is called retinitis pigmentosa.
Okay.
So you have two types of cells in your eyes, which is the rod cell and the cone cell.
Okay.
So this is what you learn in your maybe Form 1 or Form
Yes.
2 of your science
Subject, yep.
subject, right? So many of the retinitis pigmentosa's patient will suffer from the loss of peripheral vision first, before
see.
eventually losing their central vision.
Okay.
So people call this tunnel vision. So your vision becomes narrower and narrower over the years, right?
Okay.
However, for us, we are losing our central vision much faster. So that's why we are only able to have some peripheral vision.
Okay.
And even that, the peripheral vision is not that great as well. So we can only see lights and some blurry image.
Oh, I see.
So, but this is much better from having no vision
Having
at all.
complete darkness,
So
kan?
this is something that I, from time to time, I tell myself, Alhamdulillah, at least you still have some peripheral vision, enable you to have some mobility,
Okay.
and impression of the surrounding lah.
Okay. So that gives you maybe a little gauge on the direction of maybe
Yes,
where you're heading to or walking.
yes.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Nizam, for sharing that. Now, when I read your story, I find that, I mean, obviously, you're a very inspiring individual, definitely full of resilience and grit. You are in it for the long haul, alhamdulillah, and you have proven that you can achieve what you put your mind to. And, you mentioned Dr. Ismail Saleh. Can I maybe understand a little bit more, together with, of course, the viewers and listeners, where does this maybe passion or this drive, Dr. Nizam, where does it come from, and how does one stay driven despite a visual impairment or any kind of disability for that matter? What would you say?
Initially, it was natural because you need to achieve something.
Okay.
So you see people go to universities, people later get a good job, right?
Right.
And have a good life, right? So this is when you are a teenager, you also wanted to achieve such success, right? And then you realize that you're not the same as your other colleagues or friends.
Right.
Yeah? And from childhood, you know that eventually you will go blind, because the disease has been diagnosed quite early, right? And then you can already see what is happening to your brothers and sisters. Yeah?
Right.
They are losing their vision. Yeah, I am blessed because my brothers and sisters gone through their own experience,
Right.
right? And based on those experience, they don't want it to happen to me. Yeah, for example, you know, in the past, in the 80s, the awareness was very
Betul.
limited,
Yes.
right? So when you are diagnosed with such a disease, you are expected to go blind, then you feel hopeless.
Right. Like a death sentence,
Yeah,
kan?
hopeless. And then what's the purpose of going to school?
Yeah.
Right? What's the purpose of, you know, especially going to school? Yeah?
Yeah.
And this was also reinforced by the community as well.
Betul.
People are saying that, you know, that there's no hope. Yeah?
Betul.
There was a time when we had wedding for my sister, and then the villagers were saying among themselves, oh, probably this is the last wedding of this family. All other siblings are going to be blind, right? So this is something that was there in the minds of the people at that time. Yeah? Not only we ourselves are feeling hopeless, this was even reinforced by the
Betul.
perception and thinking of the people around us. Yeah?
Right.
But Alhamdulillah, later, because of the exposure of many things, and especially with the stories coming from successful people like Professor Dr. Ismail Saleh, right? So my brother was saying, you know, there's hope, you know. So there are people who are successful. Yeah. So if they can do it, why not you?
Yes.
Right?
Alhamdulillah.
So in fact, my brother, who initially already resigned to the faith, started to take up education again,
Subhanallah.
right? Attempting to take STPM, several times, and eventually managed to get a seat at the university in Universiti Malaya,
MashaAllah.
and eventually become the best student of that department.
Subhanallah. No excuse.
No.
MashaAllah.
So it shows that, you know, there are opportunities, and when we are informed of these opportunities, when we are given such opportunities, we are also able
Betul.
to do it. Yeah. So the most important thing is we need to know the way.
Yes.
Right? We need to get information. How
Betul.
can we achieve
Yes.
those things, right? And of course, I was, you know, blindly used the success story of Prof. Ismail Saleh. If he can do it, then why not me, right?
Yeah.
But gradually, I found out that it is not as easy lah.
Betul. Even for a normal person, it isn't easy. What more with the disability, Dr. Nizam, mashallah.
Because Prof. Ismail Saleh was very gifted, so he was a genius. So I wanted to follow his footsteps, but you know, it's not as easy lah. Yeah, but Alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
I managed to go through those
obstacles and
lah.
challenges. Yalah, mulut orang ni kita tak boleh nak tutup, but you prove them wrong. Alhamdulillah, your siblings as well. Tell me a little bit about your parents, Dr. Nizam.
Both of my parents passed away.
Okay.
My father used to be a military police with the
military
Royal
police.
Air Force,
Okay.
Singapore, and later when he retired, settled down in Malacca.
Oh, okay.
And then he did few businesses lah. For example, rearing chicken, rental for weddings. You
I
have
see.
canopies,
Right.
and so on, right? So and a roadside stall
Oh, okay.
selling breakfast.
MashaAllah.
So until now, my stepmother is running the stall.
Oh,
In
okay.
Malacca.
Okay. I was just wondering, maybe there are, I mean, being your parents, having, 10 siblings and seven kan tadi?
Seven. out of
Seven
10.
with visual impairment. How was that for your parents? What was the upbringing
I
like,
think
Dr. Nizam?
It was very difficult, especially for my mother passed away when I was 8. Yeah. So I wasn't, able to be with her for a long time lah.
Betul.
Yeah. And then, memories when you are small sometimes are not perfect, not complete, right?
Betul.
Bits and pieces lah.
Yes, here and there.
But from the stories told by my brothers and sisters, so it's not easy lah for the parents to have 7 siblings having the same disability. And then my father was also sometimes very emotional, right? Especially when he saw us struggling in the dark and so on.
Betul,
sometimes
of course.
he cried as well. But as many other parents, they also wanted us to be successful.
Yep.
Right? And then he put a very high emphasis on education. Right? And then he will always ask me, is there any exam at school? Can you get all of those questions right?
Yeah.
So I need to say yes. Otherwise, I will be scolded. So
just like a normal parent, of course.
So, and then he was very excited when I managed to get straight A's for my SRP at that time.
Yes.
So he may not be aware about how big that is, right? For my parent is a simple, village person, kan? And then he was saying, "Oh, you can try to get a diploma." At that time, from his perspective, diploma
tu dah dahsyat
very, very impressive already.
Right.
And then he heard other people having their children going abroad. Oh, you can go to University Madinah, right? So there's a poster of Masjid Nabi, Masjid Nabawi at home, right? So he was very excited at that time, because nobody among the family members managed to go to university. So he was very excited at that time.
I see.
And then later, 3 of my brothers managed to go into Darul Quran.
Oh, subhanallah.
So he was also very excited, very happy.
Right.
So we can see how happy he was when many of my siblings managed to go into Darul Quran, managed to achieve the diploma certificates, right? Went to the convocation, right? And then later my turn, and then my other brother who also managed to get into UM a bit later.
Yeah, the education one.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
So he was very, and then later when I was accepted as an assistant lecturer at the university, IIUM, he was even happier. So I think one of the motivation for me is to make my parent and my siblings happy lah. Yeah. When they are proud, I also feel like at least
it's meaningful lah.
Yeah, because in the past people may look down on us, right? The family, they feel pity of the family, right? Seven of the siblings are blind, right? But then with this success, right? So at least their self-esteem, their pride, so has been lifted.
Betul.
Yeah.
And dignity.
Yes.
Dr.
So they
Nizam.
say that, even though our family, 7 of our siblings are blind, we are able to also achieve certain success.
Betul.
Have our own, career, have our own family, right? Just like any other family.
Yes. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, Dr. Nizam. Thank you very much for sharing that. I know you spoke about your motivation, what motivated you. What about hope, Dr. Nizam? How did you find hope amidst these challenges that you were facing, and who was your support system during that time? Your parents, your siblings? Tapi ada ke other maybe external support?
I think initially my thinking was very simple at that time.
Okay.
Very naive lah. Because at that time I was looking at Professor Ismail Saleh as somebody that I would like to imitate in terms of his journey, right? But later it turns out that it was not that easy lah. So, but I keep on telling myself, you need to continue because otherwise, what you will do, right? So there's no other choice except to go forward,
right?
And you cannot rely on others, right? You also have your own dreams, right? You also want to, make your siblings and your parents proud as well, right? So all of these are some of the things that I keep on telling myself. And secondly, I have this feeling inside that if I put my effort to do certain things, eventually that will turn out well. It will come to fruition, even though it may be taking a much longer time, right? Much more effort and so on. But if I persisted, then inshallah it will come eventually. So this is something that keep me going lah.
So you would say it's a journey of patience and humility?
Yeah, patience lah. Because you know that the things that you are doing, if others are doing it, those who are sighted doing it, it will only take few minutes. But in your case, it may take hours.
Right.
You know this fact. And sometimes it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Yeah. But what to do? I mean, you need to do it. Right. So sometimes you get distracted. You do other things first because you want to escape, right?
Yeah. Avoid it.
Try to avoid, right?
Yeah.
But you cannot escape forever. You need to face the things that you need to do, right? So
this alhamdulillah. So this strength, Dr. Nizam, comes from?
You need to have a clear vision lah. What you want to achieve. Yeah. Maybe in the past, my vision was very simple.
Yeah.
Get a job, right? Like any other, other people, have a family, and so on, right? But after that, what comes next? Yeah? For example, at the moment, my purpose is to go into this area of Islamic economics education.
Yep.
Try to come up with materials which can be beneficial for students as well as for instructors teaching economics from Islamic perspective. So this is my intermediate mission at the moment. And from time to time, we also need to have something new lah, I think. Yeah, because when you do certain things for a long time, naturally you will get bored from time to time, right? So I was lucky that I was part of this Kinabalu
I know
mission.
Yes.
2 years ago.
Betul.
So that really, create some excitement in my life.
Adrenaline power punya. Mashallah.
So preparation wise,
exactly.
Otherwise, eating, sleeping.
Betul.
So there's not much physical activities,
betul
right?
lah.
And then suddenly this opportunity came, and then very exciting. Yeah. So So I think people with disability may need to find some fun or exciting activities.
Betul. Other things to do and
other
connect.
things to do. Yes.
Betul, betul.
Yeah, so that you can release some of this stress and so on. Yeah.
Do you naturally? I mean, do you exercise? Are you a sportsman?
No. Yeah.
So was it harder? But we'll talk about that a little bit later on the challenges that you face, and of course all the not only physical preparation, tapi the mental preparation as well, kan,
Yes,
Dr. Nizam.
yes.
And so this was in 2022.
2022, yes.
2022, mashallah. Okay, so I think we will take a short break and we will come back for the second segment where we want to dive a little bit more about your challenges and also inspirations right after this, only on Real Conversations with Anita. Be right back with Dr. Nizam Baru. All right, Dr. Nizam, so you shared a little bit about what you went through, and of course we know you've got your degree, your master's, your PhD. You also went, you pursued it at Durham University, and I can see there's a picture of you in front of, I'm guessing, your college, and
Yes.
with your wife and also kids. Now tell me a little bit more. When did this happen, and how are you parenting your kids being a person that is visually impaired?
At the moment, I have 3 kids.
3 kids?
2 sons and a daughter.
Mashallah. Umur berapa tu?
The first one, the eldest, is 17, just
Mashallah, 17
finished
already.
SPM.
Uh-huh.
The second one is now currently in Form 5.
Okay.
And the third one is Standard 4.
Okay.
Standard
So ada
4,
gap
yeah.
sikit lah, the
Yes,
last one. Okay.
So I met my wife at University of Malaya.
Oh, okay.
So during that time, University Malaya was relatively advanced compared to other universities in terms of providing services for students with disability.
Betul.
Our disability services unit at IIUM only established in 2012. So they already in existence at University Malaya when I was there in 2001. So they were quite advanced at that time. Yeah?
Okay.
So there is the arrangement in which students can come and help students with disability. Yeah? So they call this program Lend Your Eyes.
Oh, lend your eyes.
Lend Your Eyes. So
Okay.
people will come and then, for example, during that time, materials available on the net was not that much. So most of the references were still from books, right?
Okay.
Printed material. So
Right.
these volunteers will be going and then getting those books and even read those books, relevant materials to be taped. At that time we have cassettes.
Betul.
Right? Into cassettes, and the people with
Okay,
blindness
we're
will,
revealing our age right here. But okay. Yes, go ahead, cassettes. No Braille, Dr. Nizam, during that
Braille.
time.
Initially I tried to learn Braille.
Okay.
That is when I got in touch with Prof. Ismail Saleh.
I see. Okay.
Because at that time I wanted to know whether he has the book that we were using at the university.
In Braille.
In Braille.
Okay.
Yeah. So I managed to get in contact with him and then went to his house somewhere in Kajang.
Okay.
And he was very happy at the time because eventually he managed to get rid of all these books to me.
That he kept for so long.
For so long, yeah.
Mashallah.
I can see, initially I was not aware, but when all those books were delivered, I
Yeah.
can see that, this is taking a lot of space at home. You know?
Yes, exactly.
A huge collection of all his books that he used when he studied in the US.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so including the one that I wanted to borrow, but later when I tried to read, because economics deals with at that level deals with a lot of mathematics.
Betul.
Right, so there's a lot of mathematical equation that I wanted to understand. So that's why I tried to learn Braille. But after some time, I was not
Must be
able
challenging.
to.
Yeah.
Very challenging. Yeah.
Betul.
And it is not simple Braille, but this is higher level mathematical equations and so on.
Right.
So after some time, I gave up, and then I use other means lah. Yeah.
Okay.
I learn other skills
Okay.
from many of the disabled students.
So tape
residing-
recording was one of it.
Yes, tape recording was on it. Scanning books,
Scanning
using
books.
screen reader. Right?
Yep.
Initially, I was not exposed to all of this. So I was fortunate to be residing in one of the colleges at the University of Malaya, and mix up with this, all of these students with disability, and learn from them.
So this was during your degree.
During my master's.
Oh, this was in your master's. I see. So your degree was in IIUM, but your
my
master's
degree.
was in UM.
Yes.
Okay.
I basically lost my ability to read in my
During your
fourth year of undergraduate.
I see. The last year.
Last year of my undergraduate
Got
at
it.
IUM. So at that time, no support system, nobody to refer to,
Betul.
right? And then I was struggling alone, trying to survive, and the closest friends around will be helping in terms of reading the notes and so on, right? And then getting them to type my assignment. I will write it on a piece of paper, and then they will help to type it up. And then in the exam, there will be somebody reading the questions to me, and I will write down the answers. Right. So this is what happened in my undergraduate studies. But later, when I went to UM, the exposure to all of these facilities and other students allow me to improve my ability to read materials and so on, because it's much easier when you know the technology, the assistive technology that can assist.
Yes, very important.
Before that, I was struggling lah.
Tapi equation and graphs and the whole enchilada, I think that's going to be very challenging.
For example, graph, there's a special sheet, plastic sheet, in which when you draw on them, it will somehow
pop up, is it?
Pop up, so
I
that you can
see.
feel the lines.
Okay.
Right? So I was using that to draw graphs.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So when you draw it on that sheet of paper, you are able to feel, oh, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis,
right,
and then you can draw all the curves.
Mashallah. Awesome. Because I took my master's in IIUM actually.
Okay.
Kuliah of economics as well, but I did Islamic banking and finance. So I can only imagine, being a normal person, sighted person versus someone like you. That's so incredible, Dr. Nizam. Thank you for sharing that. And then your kids, you touched a little bit on that, but more relating to your parenting approach with your children.
Okay.
How is that like for you?
My first son was born in Selangor lah.
Selangor, okay.
And then after 3 months, we already traveled to the UK.
Okay.
Right? My second child, the daughter, was born in the UK.
Right.
And we were basically, we don't have any family members to support, right?
Right.
I was giving the baby bath, and so on. So it's very exciting and challenging as well. But in terms of educating the children, the wife taking
a
lot of the responsibility. When I was there in the UK, I was doing PhD.
Betul.
She was, taking leave from her employment at home. So she has the the full time lah to look after the children.
Okay.
And even now, I mean, mothers, they have more concern,
Betul.
more worry about the children, right?
Worry about everything. Over worry.
So the mother lah play a very
Big role lah.
Big role lah. Yeah.
So are you more of the strict parent? Ada bad cop, good cop?
The mother is very strict, but I'm also, it depends lah.
It depends
on the situation, right?
Depends on the situation. Okay,
sometimes
got it.
I will also be scolding these children.
Okay, faham. Dr. Nizam, now we want to touch a little bit about the stigma ataupun misconceptions that maybe you have encountered, which during our first segment you did touch a little bit on that during the wedding, people's perception, etc. Now, maybe how do we navigate through these misconceptions or judgments to create a more inclusive society? I mean, this has been the battle for so long,
Yes.
Dr. Nizam, not just with people with visual impairments, tetapi all sorts of disabilities. And, us being in the mental space, we are often not treated and not seen as equals. So we very much resonate with, the challenges of every disability in that sense.
Yes.
So Dr. Nizam, maybe how do we move towards a more inclusive society? What is your view on this?
First of all, I think the stigma is still very strong.
It is.
Still very strong. For example, when I applied to be an academic staff at the university as well, there were people who are, quite hesitant, or not fully accommodating, trying to say that, probably you are better off joining the corporate sector.
Wow.
And so on. They have more resources for you, right? But of course, there are many other people who are also supportive.
Yes.
So these are two forces struggling in
Betul.
Some are supportive, some are skeptical.
Like everywhere else.
Yes. Even in employment elsewhere as well, because we did a study for the ministry on employability of people with disability.
Right.
And then one of the things that we managed to find was that employees may not even have any thought of employing people with disability. Never cross their mind.
Betul.
To employ people with disability.
No awareness.
No awareness at all.
Yep.
Even among the university community, we should be,
more aware,
more educated.
Betul.
Right? So the awareness and the willingness to even help people, you see blind person walking towards the library or walking towards the masjid,
right?
And you are also going the same way. Being
blind as well,
you are going also the same way, and you are
ignoring them, as if you're also the same.
So but there are people who are very helpful. Sometimes I ask myself, why are these people just ignore? I don't want them to help. At least, ask. Yeah, do you need some help?
Right.
It's fine lah. But many times when, let's say, when I was walking from the office to the masjid, this is for Jumu'ah prayer.
Right,
Everybody is going to the mosque.
Heading towards the same place.
Heading to the same place with the intention of,
Betul. Solat
Jumaat, seeking reward and so on. But ignore people. Ignore. I cannot, imagine.
Tak boleh brain kan?
Cannot imagine.
Yep.
And then, of course, if they ask, I can say, I can manage, right? But when so many people just ignore you, you tend to think, what is happening to these people? Are they not have,
any empathy?
Asking. So this is something that we need to create a lot of awareness. Awareness is very important.
Sometimes I think people want to. Sometimes, Dr. Nizam, it's just that they don't know how. And then at the end, they don't do anything.
Maybe it's true. Or I also have the feeling that they are hoping others to do
To
it.
do it that
Yes.
too as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or maybe some other people. I need to rush. Some others can help.
Betul.
Yeah. So this is something that we need to educate. So that's why at the university we have every time new students coming. Yeah, we have orientation, and then the disability services unit will have a slot talking about awareness,
Right.
highlighting that in this community we have people with disability.
Right.
They are part of us, right? So you need to
normalize it, kan?
Yeah. So
how was it different when you were in the UK compared to Malaysia in terms of the perception, the support that you received? Is it different or is it about the same?
I think it's better there because the system is institutionalized.
Yep, that's true.
So you have a very systematic way of handling people with disability. The moment they know that you have some disability issue, you are already in the system.
Yes,
right? So they will already notify the relevant unit, right? So they will contact you asking you whether you need mobility training, you need other assistance, or you need people to help you at the library, right? So when you have this system being institutionalized, then things are becoming much better.
Yeah, it's more accessible.
More accessible, right? But when there's no system, and when the assistance comes according to ad hoc basis, right? It will not be as good.
I also remember, I'm sure you know her, Sarah Minkara. She came to Malaysia, I think, a year plus ago. And it's so interesting. One of the stories she shared was she said every semester her friends would ask her, Sarah, what subjects are you taking this semester? And she was like, why does it even matter? And they said it matters because when you register for that class, the professors taught better. But that's the thing, kan, Dr. Nizam. When you make things accessible, then it benefits everyone.
Oh, that positive externalities.
Kan, betul tak? That sometimes you don't see, because it's like she was also talking about the curb cuts, betul? Because initially the curb cuts were created to help people with wheelchairs.
Yes.
But then eventually what happened, it helped people with strollers, with kids cycling, elderly people with shopping carts. So it benefited everyone sebenarnya. So these are the things that we sometimes don't see, kan, Dr. Nizam. So mashallah, alhamdulillah. Now, thank you very much, Dr. Nizam, for sharing that. We will take a short break right now, and we will come back for the closing section, segment 3. Sekejap je. Right after this, in Real Conversations with Anita. We'll be right back with Dr. Nizam Barum, everyone. Dr. Nizam, thank you so much for being with us at Real Conversations with Anita. Now, being associate professor, I do have to ask you this question first before we wrap up. What are you currently learning, Dr. Nizam, that maybe I should be learning?
What I'm learning at the moment?
Yes, that maybe I should be learning, or maybe I can benefit, or our listeners and viewers can benefit.
At the moment, we are actually, I'm teaching Islamic capital market at the master's level.
Okay.
Right, so at the master's level, you need to have some additional materials lah, in addition to what you have in the reference materials, right? So at the moment, when we talk about Islamic economics and finance, people would like to know how Islamic economics and finance can contribute to the betterment of the people's well-being.
Betul.
How we can also help to achieve sustainable development goals.
Yes.
So these are the areas that I'm working
on right now.
For example, how an economy can finance achieving its sustainable development goals given the limited resources the government currently
That's
have.
Always the question.
Yes. Now we are looking at blended finance, in which we are trying to integrate all kinds of available resources. Yeah? For example, we have resources available in the Islamic social finance area, for example, zakat, wakaf, yeah? And how this can also be integrated together with other sources of funds from the private sector in order to promote well-being of the people. For example, giving microfinance to micro entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Or
I like that.
looking at how we can finance low-cost housing.
Yes,
for
very
the
important
B40,
as well.
right? And also helping, children of B40 families on their education, because we know that education is probably the best instruments for social mobility. Yeah?
Betul.
So your parents can be poor, but if the children have good education, the whole family can be lifted out
Betul.
of poverty.
Yes,
so
the
this,
whole trajectory changes.
Yes. So, and also another issue of healthcare.
Yes.
The cost of healthcare has been increasing. Yeah. So, so how we want to have better access of healthcare, for example, dialysis, yeah, for poor people, and sometimes rare disease, yeah, which require a lot of funding for surgery and so
Right.
on. So these are all things that can be incorporated into the financing process when we are able to tap into sources of funds from the social finance as well.
Betul. I think it's so important, especially when we talk about zakat, wakaf and all this, because I believe that, there's 2 billion Muslims in the whole world.
Yeah.
If we all contribute, Dr. Nizam, tak ada orang yang have to live below poverty line.
Yeah.
I think this is so important. Such an important work. The buck stops at you, Dr. Nizam. Thank you so much for doing this. Now, to wrap up this session, maybe, Dr. Nizam, if you want to give a message of hope, or a special message to those who are currently struggling either with mental health challenges ataupun maybe in your same context as you, visual impairment yang tiba-tiba mungkin, because there are some people that abruptly lose their vision.
Yes.
What would you say to them? What is their way out, Dr. Nizam, for them?
The way that we can cope with this, unforeseen circumstances is to look at other people who are worse than you. This has always been the teaching in our religion.
Betul.
If you want to see how much you are better, you look at those who are worse compared to you. Then only you are able to appreciate what blessings you are now enjoying. Right?
Betul.
For example, if let's say you have lost your vision, right? So you could have lost many other things as well,
Betul.
right? But you still have your life, you still have your family, for example.
Right.
And then we must always cherish what we have.
Yeah.
And then another thing is to always have a sense of purpose of life.
Yeah.
So
Very
if you have a
important.
clear purpose of life, whatever happen, it will still bring you back to the right path.
Right.
I was reading a real life story of a person with blindness.
Yeah.
So initially, this is a story in the US. Yeah.
Right.
So initially, he continue his life because there's a purpose in life, which is to cure his blindness.
Subhanallah.
And eventually, when he managed to, after many trials, he managed to gain back his eyesight.
Subhanallah.
Suddenly he lost purpose of life. Right? So what happened? He doesn't know what to do. Of course, when you are blind, you have a lot of challenges.
Right.
But even when you are sighted, you are also faced with a lot of challenges.
Betul.
But without a clear purpose in life, he lost in that
battle
that battle, right?
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is that it does not matter whether you are disabled, or you have some mental illness. What matters is how you want to achieve your purpose in life.
Yep.
So if let's say things were very difficult here, definitely it will be rewarded abundantly later in the hereafter.
Betul.
Right? So you are not suffering in vain. Yeah?
Yes.
So all this suffering, when you bear this patiently, of course not every time. Sometimes you get frustrated, sometimes you get angry, right?
Yep.
But you try to calm yourself and then say that, all of these are trials. Yeah.
Yep.
The whole life is a trial, right? So we are given, different people are given different types of trials.
That's correct.
Yeah? With disability or mental illness, we are given more tests compared to others, perhaps.
Betul.
Yeah. But the higher the test, the higher the return.
Betul.
InsyaAllah. Just persevere and put your hope with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, and try to continue moving forward. As I said earlier, sometimes life can be very challenging, very depressing. Yeah,
Yep.
at times. Yeah, try to find some other activities. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sports, or going for holidays from time to time.
Yes.
To release the level of stress, right? And always think about what you want to achieve in the hereafter. So these are all tests, yeah.
Yep.
And if we are successful, bearing patiently these tests, hopefully we will have the blessing and the rahmah,
Inshallah.
the forgiveness. Allah knows that we are given this test.
Betul.
And Allah is Maha Adil.
Betul.
Maha Adil. So if He is giving us this test, they will not be in vain. Yeah?
Indeed.
There will be some wisdom behind it. There will be some other benefits that comes with it. Yeah, and we may not be able to see it today, but hopefully in the hereafter it will be manifested to us, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Dr. Nizam. Indeed, we always make dua that Allah shows us the hikmah behind it. Maybe we don't understand it now, tapi eventually. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the hardest tests to His strongest soldiers, inshallah. Dr. Nizam, I like very much when you spoke about meaning, purpose and meaning. Sebab in every situation today, within the disability space ataupun mental health, people who go through mental health conditions, memang we see that when we come back to purpose and meaning, that is how we're able to manage what we go through better. And even recently when we had Dr. Beth Nolan on our show, she spoke about dementia care. And even Dr. Nizam, people with dementia, as we know, it affects the brain greatly, kan? That through meaning and purpose, even people with dementia are able to lead a more quality life. Alhamdulillah. So thank you very much, Dr. Nizam, for sharing all that you just shared with us on Real Conversations with Anita. I'm sure our followers, kita punya viewers and listeners found it beneficial. Your story and journey is truly inspiring. How you were inspired with Dr. Ismail Saleh. Hopefully people are inspired with you as well and find hope in their own struggles and recovery journey, inshallah. So thank you very much. This is it, folks, with Dr. Nizam Barum, Associate Professor at IIUM. Together with us today on his insights living with a disability. Thank you very much, everyone, and we hope to see you guys next week here on Real Conversations with Anita, only on Spotify and also YouTube, MIASA Malaysia. See you guys then. I end this with Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
This is Real Conversations with Anita, a mental health podcast brought to you by Iltizam by Equinus and MIASA Malaysia.